Yesterday, you were the first person they called. Today, someone else knows their secrets. Someone else makes them laugh. Someone else sits where you once belonged. And suddenly, one question starts echoing inside your mind. Was I really that easy to replace? But what if you've been asking the wrong question all along? Being replaced doesn't just hurt. It confuses you. You replay every conversation, every message, every memory, searching for the exact moment when you stopped being enough. The hardest part? They seem perfectly fine, while you're still trying to understand what happened. Maybe it wasn't a relationship. Maybe it was your best friend. You talked every single day. Then suddenly, their replies became shorter. They started making plans without you. And one day, you realized someone else had quietly taken your place. That feeling is something millions of people experience. Here's something nobody tells you. Most people don't replace you because you weren't valuable. They replace you because their life changed. New priorities, new environments, new emotions. Sometimes, people change before they even realize they have changed. If it isn't always about you, then why does being replaced hurt so much? Why does your brain refuse to let go?
The real reason.
Even months later, the answer has nothing to do with love. Nothing to do with friendship. It has everything to do with how your brain defines your identity. And once you understand this, you'll never see rejection the same way again. Here's something surprising. When someone replaces you, your brain doesn't treat it like a normal disappointment. It reacts as if you've lost something essential for survival. Thousands of years ago, being left behind by your group often meant danger. If you were excluded, your chances of surviving dropped dramatically. That ancient survival system still exists inside your brain today. So when someone chooses another person over you, your brain isn't just thinking, "I lost someone." It's quietly whispering, "Maybe I wasn't enough." And that's where the real pain begins. Think about social media. You see your old friend laughing with someone new. Your ex uploads pictures that look happier than ever. Someone who once needed you suddenly looks like they're living perfectly without you. In that moment, your brain starts a competition that nobody else even knows exists. You compare yourself. You compare your personality, your looks, your success, your value. But here's the truth. Most of that competition exists only inside your own mind. This is where most people make a mistake. They believe that if someone replaced them, they must have been less interesting, less attractive, less important. But people don't always leave because someone better appeared. Sometimes, they leave because they're becoming a different version of themselves. And sometimes, you simply no longer fit the chapter they're living. That doesn't reduce your value. It only changes your place in their story. Here's the real paradox. The more desperately you try to stop someone from replacing you, the more likely you are to lose yourself. You begin changing your personality, hiding your opinions, ignoring your own needs, just to stay important in someone else's life. But real connection never grows from fear. It grows from authenticity. Because the people who truly belong in your life don't need a different version of you. They need the real one. So if being replaced isn't proof that you're worthless, Then why do some people move on in days, while others carry that pain for years? The answer isn't found in the other person. It's hidden inside the way your memories, your emotions, and your identity become connected. And once you understand that connection, you'll stop asking, "Why did they replace me?" You'll start asking a much more powerful question. Who am I becoming because of it? And that answer changes everything. Here's something most people never realize. When someone becomes an important part of your life, they don't just become a person. They slowly become part of your identity. Maybe you were known as someone's best friend, someone's favorite person, someone's partner. And when they replace you, it doesn't feel like you're only losing them. It feels like you're losing a part of yourself. That's why the pain feels so personal. Because your brain isn't asking, "Where did they go?" It's asking, "Who am I without them?" Think about the last time someone replaced you. Maybe they found a new best friend, or they entered a new relationship. At first, you told yourself it didn't matter. But then you noticed something. The inside jokes disappeared. The late-night conversations stopped. The calls became shorter, until they stopped completely. It wasn't one big moment that broke your heart. It was hundreds of tiny moments that quietly reminded you you were no longer their first choice. Here's the twist. People don't replace people. They replace routines. They replace habits. They replace roles. Because the human brain naturally adapts. The person who laughs with them every day eventually becomes the new comfort zone. Not because they're better than you, but because they're simply present. That's one of the hardest truths about human psychology. Presence often beats history. And understanding that changes everything. Maybe the real pain was never being replaced. Maybe the real pain came from believing your value depended on someone choosing you. Because the moment another person becomes responsible for your self-worth, you hand them a power they were never meant to have. Real confidence begins when your value stays the same. Whether someone stays or walks away, that's freedom. So, if people replacing you doesn't define your worth, then what actually makes someone unforgettable? Why do some people leave our lives forever, while others remain in our hearts, even after years apart? The answer has nothing to do with being perfect, nothing to do with being irreplaceable. It comes down to one psychological principle that almost nobody understands. And once you see it, you'll stop fearing replacement forever. Let's uncover that in the final chapter. Imagine reading your favorite book. You love every chapter, every character, every moment. But eventually, you turn the last page, not because the story wasn't beautiful, but because that's where it was meant to end. People are often the same. Some enter your life to teach you confidence. Some teach you trust. Some teach you heartbreak. And some teach you how strong you really are. The problem begins when we try to hold on to a chapter that has already ended. Sometimes moving forward isn't about forgetting someone. It's about accepting. People often ask, how do I stop someone from replacing me? But that's the wrong goal. You cannot control another person's choices. What you can control is the kind of impact you leave behind. The people we never forget aren't always the richest or the funniest, or the most successful. We remember those who made us feel understood, safe, accepted, because emotions stay in the mind much longer than moments. Your value isn't measured by how long someone stays. It's measured by how deeply you changed them while they were there. Here's the biggest paradox of all. The moment you stop chasing people, you start finding yourself. And when you finally discover who you are, you stop fearing who leaves, because your happiness no longer depends on someone choosing you. It depends on the person you become every single day. The strongest people aren't those who were never replaced. They're the ones who rebuilt themselves after they were, and that's a strength nobody can ever take away. Let me ask you one final question. If everyone who ever left your life suddenly came back today, would you still be the same person they walked away from? Or have you grown into someone completely different? Maybe that's the real purpose of heartbreak. Not to destroy you, but to introduce you to a version of yourself you never would have discovered otherwise. Sometimes life removes people, so it can reveal your potential. And maybe, today, you learned why people replace us. But maybe the most important lesson wasn't about them. It was about you. People will come. People will leave. That's part of being human. But every time someone walks away, you have a choice. Spend your life asking why you weren't enough. Or spend your life becoming someone who never stops growing. Because your worth was never something another person could give you. And it was never something they could take away. If Human Paradox helped you see yourself differently today, subscribe and join us every week as we explore the hidden psychology behind human behavior. And before you go, think about this. Sometimes people don't replace you. They simply disappear, without a goodbye, without an explanation, without a single word. Why do people ghost someone they once cared about? That's exactly what we'll uncover in the next episode of Human Paradox.